to wrap it up, um, I think it's a personal conviction. It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
It's my personal conviction, to be fluent in all my keys. And it's because of what I want to do, where I see myself going,
Right.
and I know the type of player it's going to take to get there.
Welcome to the Creative War Podcast. This is the podcast where I provide insight on the things I have learned in life and music, share other people's stories, and we create a community to inspire creatives to explore their artistic identity. Got a special guest again. Got my brother back on here, Justin Patrick Ford. Feel like that was one of them names you got to say the full-on name to get the full effect. But
Yeah.
the internet has been going crazy on Facebook lately. The hot topic has been transposing. And I was like, yo, we got to get online and we got to chop it up. We
Yeah.
got to talk about, what the community is talking about with the transposing topic. I have my own thoughts on it as far as the whole transposing piece and all of that. But it's very interesting to see everyone's thoughts and ideas and opinions, and we even got singers in on a conversation and people that have nothing to do with music just putting in their 2 cents. So let's talk about it. What's your thoughts? Like everything you've been seeing, what's your thoughts on it?
It's been, first
And
of all, it's
also, we got to explain to the people that may not have been on Facebook what has been happening. So I'll let you explain what has been going on with the transposing topic, because this is a topic that comes up every so often. This ain't the first time this topic has come up.
yeah, we hit this hard at least once a year.
Once
We hit
a
this
year.
topic hard at least once a year.
Yes.
Uh, so the homie Raekwon, he
Yep.
puts up a post, and it was basically admonitions to zero in on their craft, because I think his whole point was, let's say you do transpose regularly
Mm-hmm.
and you're pretty deep, like, and you're getting gigs and stuff, it might land you in a spot where I be fully ready, but because popularity that you have, it
Yeah.
kind of landed you on like hot water. And so I think
Mm.
that was his whole point. He was like, you owe it to yourself to kind of like go ahead and brush up on the skill set, so you're good to go in
Yeah.
any situation or whatnot. And so and his of course he said it in his way.
Right.
So I think that's what kind of like initiated the spark, this go around. But this go around has kind of been funny. I feel it's like a lot more people have come out
Uh-huh.
sharing their horror stories. The OGs have come out, you know, kind of giving
Always.
their whole spiel on it. Yeah, so it's been a comedy show for me, at least. I just love reading all the statuses and stuff like that. So yeah,
And
but
all the
yeah,
drama. I'm gonna see if I can find exactly what Raekwon said, because he said a couple of different
yeah.
things. Let me see
Uh-huh.
if I can find it. Let me see if I can
Yeah,
find it real quick.
that initial status.
Because it was something about how he transposed. He used to be transposed king or something like that. Something like that.
Yeah, I think he mentioned that afterwards. He was like, I transposed too back in that, but he said he didn't stay there. And I remember I shared my little story. I was like, I never really transposed, and but it's not like I probably should have, but I
Nah.
just
Yeah.
didn't.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't, and I decided to just take the heat for not knowing what I needed to know. And I feel like it was that, like, oh, I had this one. I shared this one story.
Yeah. What's up?
I had to be in college,
Mm-hmm.
like my freshman year in college. Now, I haven't been playing that long, so I've been playing. Uh, oh, actually, I haven't been playing long. Let me say, I'm
It'd
older
be
than I think.
longer than what you think. Like I feel like we
Yeah,
always get in a time frame and be like, yeah, I've been playing for 6 years. Whole
yeah.
time you've been playing for 10, 12
I've been
years,
playing like, yeah. And I forget I'm older. Like I'm not
Yeah.
young no more. So I've been playing for about 20 years. And but back then, I remember when I was getting started. It was an event I had.
Mm-hmm.
Some old it was, and I was playing some old school song. Some lady came up. She went to sing some old school song.
Yeah.
Mind you, my introduction to music was through CCM. It
Word.
wasn't through the traditional gospel music.
Tapping into the last
Uh,
topic that we talked about last time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was actually through CCM. So like that's what I was getting comfortable with as I was starting to play. So I was
Mm-hmm.
more comfortable playing like the CCM. And I could play in like the white keys because it's kind of like you had to because it's
Yeah.
if you want to play that music they was in those keys. So I had no problem with that, but I did not have like the traditional feel. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
playing this song. I don't know what she's singing. Old lady had to be every bit of 90 years old,
Dang.
comes over to the keyboard and says, "Move, I can do it better myself."
Oh Lord.
Gets
Well,
me up
have
off
your
the
way.
keyboard,
Have your
yeah,
way.
and starts playing whatever song she wanted to hear. And at this banquet that she was trying to sing, I said, "Well, you know what? All right, you got it." And
Yeah.
so I think it was like a moment like that that sent me into like I told myself I was like I'm gonna learn all my keys, and I spent the summer
Yeah.
just trying to get the basics of it, not trying to like be incredible in all my keys, but I was just
Just
trying to get
figuring
the
it out.
basics.
So
Yeah.
so here's the question. So that's your story. Where do you fall on the spectrum of knowing all your keys in general? Because I feel like for me, I'm somewhere in the middle of like if you're first starting out, let's say you get an opportunity, or let's say you're pushed into an opportunity of your homie call you, yo, I'm out of town this Sunday. I really need your help. I know you're new to playing, but I
Hmm.
need your help. You know, we doing this one song in C sharp. I know you cool with that, but there's another song in E. I don't know if you too
Hmm.
well in E. Can you just help me out? Do whatever you got to do to get through. Your homie's going on vacation and he needs you to sit in. In the name
Yeah.
of going down in flames, embarrassing your homie, I think you should go in a situation, transpose, do what you need to do to get the job done. You're still learning, you're still figuring out how to play. Do
Right.
what you got to do. Make your homie look good. Don't go down in flames.
Absolutely.
And then you got another side of it where it takes a certain maturity to get to a certain point where it's like, all right, I take my craft serious. You know, maybe I can transpose, but maybe I have too much respect. Maybe, you know, you set yourself on a standard of
Yeah.
I'm not going to transpose. And that's a certain level of maturity. But I'm sure you got guys in the secular world, you know, they got Grammys, all that. And they done it on
Yeah.
records and they transpose. They're making money. They got the job done. We on Facebook right now fighting about who's transposing. And
Yeah.
I mean, I just think it's levels to it on where you hold yourself to the standard at. And I can't say either side is wrong. I think the issue that I have is when you're arrogant, when you think you all that, when you're high minded and you're
Mm.
transposing and you think you're it. You think you're God's gift to the universe and you keeping
Yeah.
it a secret that you transpose. And there's levels to it, you know? Like
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you think?
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Um, it's so many ways this conversation can go. I now one thing that stuck with me this go around
Mm-hmm.
was a question that was posed,
Yeah.
and I never thought about it, and I straight up told him I don't know. He this dude named Jeremiah, a friend of mine's on Facebook. He
Yeah.
asked, he said, "So what's the purpose of the transpose button?
Mm.
Why is it on a keyboard in the first place?"
Ooh.
I said, I was stuck. I said,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know. That's a
Have
good
we ever
question.
looked that up?
I
Have we
like,
ever looked up what's the
yeah, like
purpose of
what?
the global
Yeah,
transpose
like
button? Like we even got them on the Nord. You know, I got my Nord right here. It's on
yeah,
all
yeah.
keyboards.
So it has an intent. Um, but like in the church world, we've made it such a demon.
We've made it
The
a
transpose
sin.
button. Yeah, we made it a sin
Yeah.
to hit that button, and it's my conviction not to hit that button. It's my personal conviction not to
Right.
hit that button. And and at this point, I mean, I don't need to. And the more you play in those keys
Mm-hmm.
that you're unfamiliar with or uncomfortable in, you're gonna get, more comfortable.
Yeah.
It's just when I see somebody that struggles in a particular key, it automatically tells me, okay, you're not spending enough time in that key.
Correct.
That's all it is.
Correct. It's literally that simple. It's not that
If you
you got
spend as
guys that
much
can
time in,
blaze in E
yeah,
flat, A flat,
yeah.
and if they just learn that, take it
And if
up
you can blaze an E flat and A flat, then you can blaze an A. You just ain't
at
taking the
some
time to
point.
do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I mean
Yeah.
that's so true. Like a little bit of my story is I don't know if there's one because there was times in my life where I did transpose when I was younger and I was just starting out and I had to get through
Hmm.
certain church services or gigs and stuff like that. And I was never really super heavy on like, I'm gonna transpose my way
Yeah,
through
yeah,
this gig. I'm gonna take it up 6 octaves. It's always been like, all right, 1, 2 here, stuff like that. But I think for me, I
yeah,
just kind of got to a point where like I wanted better for myself. Nothing is worse going to a church or a gig or a situation and you're not comfortable in all your keys and they don't have a transpose button. It makes you
yeah,
feel paralyzed. So I think situations like that made me be like, all right, if if I'm on organ, which I don't play organ at all, I sound really bad on organ.
yeah, yeah.
But like if you're on
You sound.
if I
I'm
have to
not
play
organist.
like if I have to play organ and let's say we preaching and the preacher going forth, like you can't really transpose on organ, so you either go down in flames or you
Yeah,
figure it out. So
yeah. I had a little homie. I'll never forget this. This is the funniest thing. I had a
what
little homie.
happened?
He's got perfect pitch,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's got perfect pitch, but he only plays in E flat.
Ooh.
And his dad is a preacher.
Mm-hmm.
So and he goes everywhere. But he takes his keyboard with him everywhere he goes.
Come on.
So, he don't leave the house without his personal keyboard.
Yeah, he thinking ahead.
So there was this one service. We was in the Carolinas,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a storm, and it knocked out all the power.
Oh Lord.
And he was sitting at his keyboard. His dad is still hooping. He said to me, he said, just I can hear every key too. He said, I just can't play it. And
Mm.
I just said, I was like, that's sad. But boy, you better start learning because like, what if this is again? I mean, this
Yeah.
is a scenario that this has happened that you found yourself in a storm that's knocked out the power of this church while your dad is hooping,
Hey, that's
and
a
now
message
you
right
can't
there.
press your
You
transpose button. It's
you
just a
found
freak
yourself in a storm.
scenario. Yeah,
That's churchy.
in a storm. Yeah, that's churchy, and
But
that's what's happening now. The other thing is the old heads.
come on, talk about it.
I'm gonna get on them for a second. I gotta kind of wear them out.
Yeah.
I gotta wear them out. So I think it's a lot of the old heads' fault. Now, in this world, especially in just church world,
Mm-hmm.
um, you have your mentorship. Your mentors, your
Yeah.
mentees, right? Your
Yep.
OGs, your homies coming up on keys. Back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
they used to they were kind of bullies. Like the old heads,
Mm.
they were kind of like bullies. They used to
Yeah.
lord stuff over us and
In the
like
name
playing
of
the different keys.
and I will say some guys know how to do
Yeah,
it in a way where it's like respect, but
yeah,
some people do it in a way where it's like, all right, you're really being a bully. Like you're pushing it too far.
yeah.
Like it's tough
Right.
love. It's one category, tough love, and it's like, all right, this is just what it is. Then there's another category where it's like, no, you're really in the name of love, you're like pushing it too far.
Yes. And a lot of that deterred musicians. Like it made them, become insecure.
Yeah,
And in those insecurities, they probably pressed the transpose button even more.
think so.
You know, and yeah, a lot of times people, I think most cats use the transpose button just out of their own personal insecurities. They feel like they're not comfortable enough in a certain or strong in
Yeah,
a certain key, and that could be possibly just from coming up. We tease each other,
yeah,
especially like 10 years ago. Like it was. I've always looked at what we do as a sport. We are athletes.
yeah.
We
I've
be in the
heard you say that.
gym every Sunday.
Yeah,
It's the gym, and we're all getting better. We're all working out for the big games, and so
the big
that,
moments,
that
the
the
games,
big
the
moments, yeah.
moments.
And I've always kind of looked at it. We're athletes. We're sports. It is competitive as much as people try not to make it competitive.
Yeah.
It's the nature of competitiveness, but
No
it's
one
supposed to
wants to
be.
suck at the end of the day. No one
No
wants
one
to
wants to
sound
suck at the
bad.
end of the day,
That's no
right?
fun. It's no fun.
Absolutely. So you kind of have to just embrace that. And coming up through Memphis, it was fun for us. It was a
Yeah.
competitive nature, but it helped us all grow. And
Yeah.
Chicago's the same way. Chicago, they they probably won't say it, but they have a little bit of competitive nature. That's why all them cats killing up there because they
Different.
all held each other accountable.
Different.
And so that's that's my like my message for like just ending this whole transport. Just holding everybody kind of like kind of, especially if you want it. If you don't want it,
Yeah,
cool.
right. And I think that's another issue because
Yeah,
if you have someone looking at all these statuses, you hear the OGs talking, putting in their 2 cents
yeah.
and all that, which is cool. You can't make someone want to be better. Is
You can't make
literally
someone want to
what
be
you
better.
just said. Like if someone's like, no, I play in C sharp and I play in A flat, and this is what I do
And
well,
I'm good.
and this all I need to do.
Yeah.
My check clear every week, and I do this on the side. I got my full-time job. This is just for fun to me. What are you gonna say?
I am right. I am totally cool with it. That's dope, bro. Get your coin, you know. And if you and if that same person came to me and say, "Hey, I want to get better," I'm
Yes.
like, I got you. I still got you. Like, okay, bet.
Yeah.
Let's sit down. We can work out some stuff.
Yeah. And
That I
then
have no.
at that point, you
Yeah,
may be like, all right, I mean, you say you want to get better. The next level for you is slowly learning your keys.
yeah.
And
Just
the thing is, it
taking
doesn't
what you
happen
know.
overnight. It
No,
takes
no.
years.
Yeah, it took. Yeah, now that's another whole episode.
What's up?
That episode is going to be so you got the youngsters, right? They'll come to
Mm-hmm.
you, and I'm pretty sure you get this all day, Kel,
Mm-hmm.
with them videos you got going up and just cold as a mug. I'm
Thank
pretty
you.
sure you
Thank you.
get these inboxes where of course, people want you to become their mentor.
I already know where you're
They
going
want you
with
to
this.
teach them how to keys.
Yes.
Okay,
Whole nother
and my
conversation.
thing is
You're gonna say what
this:
I think
what
I'm thinking. Go for it. Yep.
what you have, Kel, it took you time to get.
Yes.
It took you time. You sat there, and these people want what you have in 15 minutes.
Bro,
They
it's
want you to spend 15 minutes with them and give it to them.
and I think about it from the standpoint of I want to learn bass, but I don't want to put the work in.
Right.
Like I know how much time it took for me to learn keys, and it was fun for me to
Yeah.
learn keys, but me
Yeah.
trying to think about learning a new instrument and playing bass, I tell my homies sometimes, I'm like, yo, teach me that. And they can
Yeah.
teach me, but if I don't go back and apply what they taught me and really shed and really sit with it, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna learn. So it's the concept of I we all want to I think we both have a heart
Yeah.
where it's like, all right, I want to share what I got, but
Yeah. I want to share, but you cannot escape time.
I can show you again timepiece. You cannot escape that timepiece, and that's so true.
Yeah.
Like it's like show me that. All right, I can show
Yeah.
you it, but it's gonna take a while for you to figure out how to apply it the right way.
Yes.
Trial and error.
It's me. It's a thinking man's sport. That's why I like music so much, and that's why I
Yeah.
listen to so many different cats. Like I'm always when I listen to cats, I'm not necessarily listening for like technicalities, how well you play, how fast you play. I'm
Mm.
listening to how you think. I'm listening.
Oh.
I'm listening to when you decide to do a change, when you decide not to do a change.
Mm.
I'm listening to like your intentions
You
in
know
this
what's
music.
cold? You know what's cold
Hmm.
when there's a killing musician, like, they get on and they start playing a song or whatever, and you can tell they got that feel automatically and they don't open up
Yeah,
all the way. Like they just chilling and then they kind of
yeah,
turn on they hit that next gear and it's
yeah.
like, ooh, like placement of things.
That storytelling.
Yes.
It's a lost art in music.
Yeah.
Storytelling. And musicians is supposed to be the storytellers. Like music is supposed to progress. It's supposed to have there is a opening, there is a middle part. It's a sequence of things that's happening
Yeah.
that
You got
builds
that
this
tension
story.
in there.
And yeah,
Like,
and that's what set apart like good musicians from great musicians.
yes.
Like a lot of time, and it's I can tell like young musicians are hungry for the language,
Yes.
which is cool. I was hungry for the language when I was young, and
Mm-hmm.
as you get older, you have to learn how to take that language and then use it appropriately. Because a lot of times you'll find yourself with these younger musicians, they'll get all this language, but I equate it to like using big words out of context.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're talking to me and you're using all these big words and you're not making sense.
And it sound good, but there's a better way.
Yeah, there's a better way. There's a better way to communicate to me.
Yeah.
And the my personal goal in music is to almost to get to impress my contemporaries, so impress
Mm-hmm.
my peers. Like I want to impress my peers,
Yeah.
but at the same time I want to impress my mom, my 72-year-old mom, who
Mm.
don't know nothing about West Coast It's like all she knows is, are you playing the song or not? She can tell if you're not playing the song
Mm.
because she'll hear all these chords and she was like, she'll come to you and she's like, what's that?
Yeah.
And that's the worst question to hear when
I,
you're playing. What's
I,
that?
I'm playing the hymn. You don't know what I'm playing?
You can't tell what I'm playing? No, it's nice.
Oh,
I hear these chords. It's real nice. I don't know what you're playing though.
dang.
And so that's what that's kind of what I get at, especially with cats that I try to mentor. That's
Mm-hmm.
the first thing I instill in them is the language that you're going after. You've got to be able to use it correctly.
Mm.
You've got to be able to communicate, and you got to communicate across generations,
Mm.
right? You got to be able to speak to the 20-year-old who likes the hype, and at the same time, you got to be able to speak to the 7-year-old who can hear the discipline in your plan. And
One
so,
of as you say that, one of the
yeah,
things that I love, like the older I get, the more I appreciate the language of the older generation. Like guys like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know I often talk about him, but Kevin Bond for me still top five for me. Like the way he just thinks in
Yeah,
terms of
yeah.
musicality, his
Heck
approach,
yeah.
like you can tell, all right, he's from a different generation, but at the same time, the way he approaches
Oh yeah,
certain
yeah. He gave us a
songs,
blueprint.
like it's so crazy to me and it's still relevant. Like eh, top five for me.
Yeah. When I hear his style, I sometimes get sad
Why
because it's
so?
dying out.
Oh yes.
That style to me is dying
Yes.
out.
Yes.
Um, he comes from the lineage of like you got your Kevin Buns, you got your Cedric Thompson, you got your
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Witherspoon, you
Yeah.
got your Trent Phillips, you got
Yeah.
your when you hit the West Coast, of course, you're gonna Mike and Jason
Jason
and
and
all of
all
them, and
that.
then Kevin Nicholson, the
Yeah.
whole nine, the Detroit area. You got Richard Tubb Smith. These players, they come from a different school of playing,
Yes.
like, and that's why like it's a little bit more jazz centric.
Uh-huh.
It has a little bit more jazz in it than the contemporary style in which we do today.
Mm-hmm.
We've taken a lot of what they did and we've kind of simplified it.
Mm.
Our chords are a little bit more smooth out the way we voice them. We
Yeah.
love like especially like okay, anytime you do like a 7/6, nah, that, or it's the same thing as 5/4, right?
Yeah.
Those type of voicings, we don't hear a lot of tritones anymore in gospel music.
Mm. That used
Think
to be
about
the
that.
thing. That was
Yeah.
the thing. That
So,
was like that
and
was
music,
one of the things that you have to learn when you first learn how to
yeah,
play tritones.
tritones. You don't really. It's disguised. Of course, it's still there, but it's not as apparent. And it's just the stylistics, the stylings have changed, and
Mm-hmm.
the way we're approaching, the way we get on the keys, the way a lot of it's changed. Some of it's changed. I like to give credit to Kenny Shelton.
Yeah.
Between him, I like to give credit to him and Justin. They've taken that Kevin Bond type of feel and they've married it to something a little bit more nuanced
Yeah.
and a little bit more contemporary for today. And it's given us this. I love it. It's amazing. And that's the type of style that I personally want
Mm-hmm.
to go after. It has a little bit of Kevin Bond in it, and it has a little bit of Bethel.
You're right.
like
That part.
uh,
It's
it's
versatile. Really what you're
that
saying, you're
that's how far the spectrum is for me. Yeah, you got to be well versed, and me personally, I get an opportunity to play in different spaces
mm-hmm.
between white and black,
Yeah.
basically. Say what it is. I get to do black church and I get to do hop over into white church, and I have to be able to speak their language in
Mm.
both settings,
Yeah.
and um, and that's challenge for me and about it. And all that to say, you can't do it if you transpose.
Wait, say it again.
That's
It
how you
broke
break
up
it
for a
down.
second. You said that's a challenge
Oh,
for
that's the challenge for me is being able to communicate effectively in both spaces. I can
mm.
talk to this group of people and give them exactly what they love what they're used to, the
Mm-hmm.
culture that they're familiar with. I
Right.
can speak to this space and give them exactly their own culture. And you have to be kind of aware where you're
Yeah.
at, where you're sitting down, where you're playing. Eddie helped me to to keep that in mind. Eddie is that was one of the things he taught me a lot because of the type of environments that he ends up in.
Right.
And in a year's time, we were in at least 300 churches, and every one of those churches you have to learn how to talk to each congregation.
Right.
And so the road kind of helped me with that. But yeah, no, it's just great. Yeah, this is music.
Yeah.
I love
Nah.
it.
Nah, that's amazing. Like music, just the language of music. I
Yeah.
would say, would you say the hardest part of being in different atmospheres or different spaces, the white and black space, would you just say it's the approach of putting restrictions on yourself of saying, all right, I ain't gonna play all this crazy stuff. Like I could, but I can't. I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
practicing that balance of like, no, I need to play a regular six instead of my black six here because
Yeah.
they may not like the way I go to the six here, you know?
My favorite word in this season is appropriate. What's more
Mm.
appropriate? Like you could play that, but is it appropriate?
Ooh. Hey, that's a word right
That's
there.
yeah, that's my word for this season. And that's how I approach it. Like um and there's nothing wrong with mixing the two. You can mix it if you
Yeah,
find a harmony, a balance. You can do it. You do it well. Okay, I be
I
tearing your big
appreciate it.
bills up.
Thank
You
you.
do it well. And so there is a balance there that you can find. You can get to a certain point where you can speak to both crowds at the same time.
Yeah.
That to me, now you're thinking. Now you're next
Mm.
level. When you can have basically your own Acts chapter 2 moment where you're talking to a bunch of people groups from
Come
your
on.
instrument and every people group can understand you.
Come on.
Oh, you are a musician that's transitioned.
Come
You up there
on.
now.
Yeah,
That's
no, that
where we that's where we're going. That's what I'm going for. That's my goal in
yeah.
this is that I can communicate effectively to many different people groups and it all blessed and it all, love it.
So let's say
So
that
that's
that
the goal.
so let's say that that is a goal. And that's not going to be everyone goal. But what
Hmm.
would you say to kind of like wrapping up a little bit? What would you say to the musician who's confused on the topic of like, is it, for lack of a better term, is it a sin to transpose? Not like we know it ain't a sin to transpose, but like,
Yeah.
we're demonizing this transpose button, and then there's another end of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still trying to learn, I'm still trying to understand the language. I know C sharp really well, but they tell me I can't transpose, but I get called to do this gig and I don't know how to play in the key of E or G, but we have
Hmm.
to do those songs. Should I transpose or should I just go down in flames and now get deemed as I don't know how to play? Because I guarantee you, these singers that's on the internet talking about, oh, y'all need to learn
Yeah.
y'all keys and all that. Y'all not gonna care if they transpose and they playing
Yeah.
behind you and they make you sound good, but you are gonna care if they're trying to figure
If
out
they're
how to
going down in
play.
flames.
Exactly, because it's gonna make both of y'all look bad.
Look
It's
bad.
just
Yeah.
annoying for me when people jump in on the
Yeah.
transpose conversation. Some people don't even really know what a transpose button is. They
Yeah.
just know it's something you shouldn't do. And it goes back to we've demonized the transpose button, and some of us don't even really know what it is. And we
Yeah,
still
we
have yet
don't.
to figure out why is it on all these keyboards.
Why is it on keyboard if we can't use it?
Right.
But it's funny. To wrap it up, um, I think it's a personal conviction. It's a personal thing.
Yeah.
It's my personal conviction, to be fluent in all my keys. And it's because of what I want to do, where I see myself going,
Right.
and I know the type of player it's going to take to get there, and I need to be that type of player if I'm trying to go that route. Now, for others, just be real with yourself. Like, where do you see yourself going in this? Like,
Mm.
do you just want to play for your local church, and that might be cool, and that might be all you want to do because you make good money doing it.
Yeah.
There's some people that I
And
make
or
great
you
money
work a
playing for my
nine to
local church.
five. You make work a
Yeah,
9 to 5, and you don't. you serve your church because it's a gift that God has given you, but
Yeah.
it's levels to it. You
It's
got
levels
your
to it. Yeah, absolutely.
basic player who's like, hey, I'm just stepping in, filling the need, and it's a small
Yeah,
local church. I'm not trying to fill in local churches. I'm just trying to serve a need in this season, and we're a 10-member
absolutely.
church, and I have to
Yeah,
do what you
do
got
what
to
you do.
do.
I'm
You
gonna
know
show
what I'm
you what a
saying?
transpose is. At that point, if I know that that's where you are. But if you come to me and say I want to be this
Right,
type of player, I want to go to the nations. I'm like,
right.
okay, well we're gonna have to get you off of this transpose if you
That's
want
and
to go
that's
to the nations.
exactly, and that's the hard hitting conversation. That's the time to
Yeah,
really give the tough love and be like, yo, you can't do this if you transpose. And like, it's gonna take you
yeah,
some time to figure this out, but you got to figure
yeah.
it out.
Or you'll blow up. You'll and the nations will come to you, and then they'll turn back around and go because they thought they had something that they didn't have.
No, you're more
And that's
so. My joint just went dead. Hold on, let me figure something out. But more so, your
okay.
community is going to be the one that's going to leave you, and they're going to be the one that's
Yeah,
just going to tear you down and go
right,
for you. It ain't. It's always your own
right.
people. It's always the gospel
It's
community.
always
Because the
yeah.
world, they
So
don't
he's like,
care.
they don't. The world don't care. It's the people that it's our little community.
Right.
We keep up all this ruckus.
But yeah, man. Wrapping up again. My camera just went dead, so we was wrapping up
Yeah, my
anyways. But
phone finna die too. I probably got like 2% left.
it's all good. But no,
So
this was definitely
yeah,
a fun convo. I hope you guys
yes,
found some insight in this. Comment down below what y'all think about this conversation, or where do you fall on the spectrum of transpose or not transpose. And I would love to hear y'all thoughts. Hey, for the record, let's just keep the conversation going. Let's see where it goes.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see where it
Yeah.
goes.
Let's see where it goes.
Yes, sir. Well, all right, then. This was fun. Appreciate you, my brother.
Appreciate you, Carol.
Yes,
Anytime,
sir.
yo.
All right, bro.